If you're thinking about moving to San Antonio, but you want that small town feel, then you're gonna want to consider Castroville, Texas. Today, we're breaking down everything that you need to know about Castroville, and we're getting after it right now.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jonathan, this is Trevor. We're your Alamo City Living team, and you know on this channel, we talk about everything that you want to know about living in San Antonio and the entire surrounding area. We're also licensed real estate agents here in San Antonio, which means not only do we enjoy making videos for you guys, we would love even more to help you with all of your real estate purchase needs. So please feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. The information coming up right now is how you get a hold of us. Don't be shy. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because we post videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. All right, Trevor, Castroville is a town that we've wanted to talk about for a while. It doesn't get a whole lot of attention. You know, this really cute bedroom community of San Antonio. Let's talk about it for a minute, let people know some of the pros and cons that, you know, are about Castroville.
Yeah, you know, man, they call it Little Alsace, as in Little Alsatian, just for the overall design of the community, right? It's got kind of a French aesthetic to the buildings, and as you drive through, yeah, exactly, right here behind us, this is one of the historical sites in the community. You can see the architecture, right, and how they want to preserve that. This is a very aware community of what they have and the architecture, and they really look into preserving things like this.
They do.
Now, you mentioned that it was kind of it hasn't been as popular, but it's been gaining rapid popularity. And it's funny that you mentioned that because more and more recently I've had a good amount of people start to ask me, hey man, like what's Castroville like? What's out there? Blah, 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 right? Which is interesting because since 2010, Castroville hasn't grown too much. It's only got a population of about 3,000 people, and the population has only grown like 10% in the last 12 years.
Right, and it's very close to San Antonio. It's just right off of Highway 90 west of San Antonio. You're about 30 minutes from downtown San Antonio, about 35 to 40 minutes from the airport. And if you are working, say, you know, UTSA, then you're about 30 minutes from that. So very close. You know, you're about 30 to 40 minutes, which is going to be an average commute
from
really
everything,
depending wherever you live in town. And if you're in the military and you're working out to Lackland Air Force Base, you're only 20 minutes away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note about Castroville, about 74% of the people who live here own their homes, right? So you're probably not going to find too much. If you're looking to rent and you want to spend a little bit of time out here, it's probably not going to happen if we're going to be brutally honest with you. If you want to live in Castroville, chances are you're going to need to purchase a house out here because the renting opportunities and apartments, there's just not that many, especially with this population.
One of the things people love about Castroville is because it has a small population, it also has a very good crime rating of an A- according to crimegrade.org.
So one of the nice things about living out in Castroville is going to put you in Medina ISD. Now, Medina ISD only consists of about 6,100 students right now, which breaks down, if you look at it, there's 4 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school, which, by the way, has a 99% graduation rate, so pro for sure. But Jonathan, you were telling me earlier that there's a lot of plans for expansion, right?
Yeah, so Castroville has not seen a lot of popularity over the last few years, but they're actually expecting a tremendous amount of growth over the next 3 years, including the student population here in Medina ISD. They're actually expecting an increase of about 10,000 students over the next 10 years in Medina ISD, and a population increase of a tremendous amount over the next 3 years. In fact, they're expecting more growth in the next 3 years here in Castroville than they have had in the last 178 years since its founding. That's incredible.
Absolutely incredible. Now, the school district right now, as it sits, before we add that 10,000 extra students in there, it's a teacher to student ratio of about 16 to 1, which is pretty good.
That's
actually.
a pro.
That's a big pro. If you want your student to have a little bit more attention, Medina ISD, that's a great option. 16 to 1 is, man, that's pretty good, especially for public schools.
Absolutely. And now, when one of our last videos, we did talk about how the homeschool community in San Antonio, in Texas in general, San Antonio specifically, has always been very, very supportive. And again, Castroville is not very far from San Antonio. So if you are a homeschool family and you're concerned about moving to a smaller town that, you know, you're afraid maybe there's not a lot of resources for you, you're very close to San Antonio and you have all those resources there.
Now, a concern that a lot of people might have about living in Castroville, such a small town, or hey man, like what are the things to do? Do I have to drive to San Antonio for every little thing if I want to get my family out of the house? And no, the nice thing is that you don't. Castroville has multiple parks. There's one, Castroville Regional Park is what I believe it's called.
Yep.
It's about 122 acres of hiking trails and biking trails. So if you're into the outdoorsy stuff, that's right there.
It's right off of the river, so you could fish, you can swim there. They have a swimming pool there. It's a great place to hang out. Now, Castroville is known for some great local restaurants, one of which is Haby's Bakery, which is right across the street from where we're standing right now. It has some phenomenal pecan rolls. And if you find yourself here in Castroville, driving through or looking for a house, you have to stop by there and get one.
You know, you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, as soon as we're done with this video, my wife requested, because we're going to be out in Castroville, I have to go get her one and bring her back to the house. So if that's any testament to how good they are, I don't know what else is.
Now, historically, Castroville has been known as a farming community. It's been very rural and agricultural out here. The majority of the growth that is expected to come this way is all from people who are still working primarily in San Antonio. Because it's only about 30 minutes from downtown San Antonio, people have just continued to move west, even north and northwest of San Antonio. Castroville just happens to be, you know, one of those little towns that's just kind of getting swallowed up with the San Antonio population. So the majority of the economy is going to continue to be farming, agricultural, and then people who are continuing to work in San Antonio. So there aren't any plans for big tech or giant hospitals or any of those giant economy drivers to come out here to Castroville right now.
So that being said, despite not having those crazy large companies expand out this way, there is still a pretty high demand in housing, right? So we did a little bit of research, and over the last 12 months, right, you know, it's been a crazy market these last couple of years. However, what we found is that in Castroville, home prices increased on average about 19% over the course of the last 12 months. So if you're looking for properties out here, they're generally going to be a little bit higher priced than average just because of the desirability of the area.
The price of these homes are going to be really in new developments. There are some giant developments that are coming here to Castroville on both the north and the south side of 90, which runs through Castroville. And some of these major developments are beautiful homes. Some of them sit on acres. In fact, we just drove through a couple of neighborhoods that are gated, that are acre plus neighborhoods. And of course, those home prices are going to be at a much more premium price range than, you know, you're going to see in some of these other smaller neighborhoods in San Antonio. All right, we're going to jump in the car and drive around and check out a couple homes at different price points to see kind of what your budget would get you if you're thinking about moving here to Castroville. All right, guys, we are here in our first neighborhood looking at our first house. And this one is a treat. Now, the price of this home, Trevor, is
$350,000 on the dot.
$350,000, which is going to be our least expensive house that we look at today. And it's actually going to be right here behind us. This house built in 1999, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. It is on a 0.2 acres?
0.29 acres.
0.29 acres. It's going to put the price per square feet right at $159. And we just walked through this house, and it's beautiful. Built in 1999. The owner of this home used to live out in Italy. So she did a lot of design work inside the house to resemble Italy. And I actually happened to be stationed out in Naples, Italy for a little while, and I recognized the design of the house as soon as I walked in, and it's really, really nice. This house right here, if you can see it, it has the old Alsatian style architecture. We talked about that earlier. Castroville is known for its Alsatian architecture, and actually we learned that back in the day, they used to actually pay people who would build their houses in the Alsatian style architecture like this. They would give them tax breaks on their homes. Side note. So they stopped that, of course, some years later, but you will still find a lot of homes built in this Alsatian style. And there are several other older homes in this neighborhood that are built in this style as well. Neighborhood right here, very, very nice.
I like it.
They said that it may be haunted because there's some rumors that this neighborhood was built on an old Indian burial ground. So I don't know about that one.
I'm gonna say a prayer before I get back in the car. So
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
But it does not seem to be haunted right now. It's a very peaceful neighborhood, and we're gonna go check out our second home, and a little bit higher price point. You'll see why, but we are gonna go check it out.
So something to note about this area, right? This is kind of in the heart of Castroville, if you will, right? This is it's pretty centralized in the town. And one thing that Johnny and I were noticing as we were driving out here, and this is probably going to be a con for some people of Castroville. There's not very many, but this is one to note. We have absolutely awful cell phone reception out here. I have AT&T, and you have someone who piggybacks on AT&T. So reputable brands, and I've got like 0 bars. So if that's something that's important, that might be something to consider if you're considering moving into the heart of the city. You might want to look towards the outskirts or maybe somewhere else altogether.
And I actually have AT&T FirstNet.
Oh, do you?
And they tend to have very good signal even when most people don't have signal. AT&T FirstNet for first responders typically has signal, and I still don't have any bars in this particular area. So definitely a con for me.
Yep. So with that being said, we're gonna go to house number 2, and we're gonna show you the area, and we'll see you guys there.
All right, guys, we're here at our second house of the day here on my left, and this is a beautiful home located in a gated community. This one is off of Petrenko Road. This is going to be built in 2021. This is 2,110 square feet, 519.9, and the price per square foot right at $246. This is actually going to be the most expensive price per square foot home that we're looking at today, and the HOA in this gated community is a lot, $750 annually, which is pretty high. But quiet neighborhood, except for the wind that you can hear here. But this is a great neighborhood, still being built out. This is a pretty new neighborhood. I think there's maybe only a dozen homes in this neighborhood so far. It is still very much under construction. One of our other videos, we talked about how when you are building a home, a new construction home, you're gonna have to deal with some construction for quite a while, and I believe that, you know, it's gonna be the case here. It's gonna be under construction for quite some time, but this is a wonderful home. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen so you can take a look. But this is kind of what you can expect here in a neighborhood of a price point at 500K. You might not always have a HOA that's high, but this particular one is up there. So we're gonna go check out our third and final neighborhood, and we'll see you in just a minute. Guys, we're here at our final home. This is a stunning neighborhood, and the price point is going to be the highest one that we're looking at today. This house here on my left, $700,000. This is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, and it sits on 0.5 acres. Wonderful house. Driving through this neighborhood, you can see all the homes. You can see behind me here, all the homes are just sitting on at least half an acre. Beautiful, gorgeous homes. This one here is actually not quite complete. There's a few things left to do on this house. It does have a welcome sign. I think that's just for staging out front, but it doesn't have the fence yet completed. But as you can see here, it has this super long driveway that you drive into. It's got the what do you call this? Mother-in-law suite here. Mother-in-law suite on the property.
Carport, yeah.
And then you drive underneath that carport there, and then you've got a 2-car garage, and behind the house is just gorgeous. A lot of space, green belt there behind the home. So this is kind of what you're going to be looking at in a neighborhood like this, in the $700,000 price range here in Castroville. We're located right off of Petrenko Road, and we're going to be about 9 miles from 1604. So great location. Again, a lot of these people that are living out in this area are working in San Antonio, and they're just wanting this country feel and quiet environment, which is exactly what you're going to get here in Castroville. All right, guys, so that is the pros and cons of Castroville, Texas. Wonderful little city outside of San Antonio. We thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Make sure you like and subscribe. We do post videos every single week, and you are not gonna want to miss them.
Guys, whether you plan on moving in the next few weeks or the next few months, please don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot us a text, shoot us an email, give us a call. We'd love to help you and your family make a smooth move to San Antonio. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.